What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. DMZ missions are what we do over here, and today we're looking at a mission called Poison Well, which is for the Legion faction in DMZ. This mission tasks you with finding or acquiring 6 gas grenades in one deployment and then going to a very specific area of the map, Zargwa Hydroelectric to be specific, and actually poisoning those water wells there with these gas grenades. You have to toss them into 6 of these water wells and then you will be complete. Now all of this needs to be done within one deployment. I'll share some general tips about the area itself, about how you can get those gas grenades really quick, and I'll show you the location of all of the areas where you should be tossing these grenades into. And you should be able to get this done easy peasy lemon squeezy. So first things first, this mission by itself is actually not that complicated and the steps that you have to follow are relatively easy. The difficulty in the mission comes from the fact that the area that you have to do this in is generally considered one of the tougher areas of the game. Now first and foremost, this is one of the 3 possible places where the weapon case ring and aka the elite with a minigun can spawn. If that is the case for the specific deployment that you go into, you have to take extra special care, because not only will this elite with the minigun be exactly where you're supposed to go, but of course there will also be a congregation of other enemy combatants that are trying to get in there, get the weapon case, or get people trying to get the weapon case, as well as the usual assortment of elites and whatnot. Even when Zargwa Hydroelectric is not the weapon case area, you will still find in this middle area here, this little island where you're supposed to be going, you will still find a large congestion of elites. Oftentimes you find safe spawns in this area as well as HVTs, and these come with a whole bunch of elites with them as well. These are all the triple plate tough elites with the M4s and the RPKs, so you absolutely have to exercise caution when you come into this area. Trying to speed run this and just going in there and dropping your grenades in is most likely going to get you killed. Now looking at the first step in this 2-part mission, you have to acquire 6 gas grenades in one deployment. Now of course you can deploy in with a gas grenade and a munitions box, and refreshing that munitions box by stowing the other grenade into your backpack is already going to give you 3 grenades. Now at this point in time you really have 2 options here. You can just continue on looting. Gas grenades do spawn quite often in boxes and bags and things like that, and you should be able to find this relatively easily. Or otherwise, what you can simply do is just farm up a little bit of money, find yourself a buy box, buy a bunch of munitions boxes, and essentially just backfill those grenades into your backpack. The minimum amount that you need here is 6, although I would advise you to go maybe to 8 or 9, just in case you whiff some of those grenade tosses, or you go throwing a grenade into a pool that you might have done already, so you've got some spare. The only other thing I also want to mention is that it is possible that this mission bugs out and does not give you the actual spawns of those grenades that you get from the munitions boxes to count towards this 6 total that you should be acquiring. And in that case, all you can do is simply throw the grenades onto the ground and then just pick them back up again, and that will actually count as progress, and that will be done with the first step of this 2-part mission. Then with your grenades in your backpack and in hand, you are ready to start the second and final part of this mission. And of course that means going over to this area as mentioned before, which is the little island in Zargwa Hydroelectric. Now the footage that I'm going to be showing in the background all the while I'm talking right now is essentially me cleaning out the area with the enemy AI before I actually start tossing the grenades in, because you kind of have to keep track of which pools you've tossed grenades into and which you haven't. But in general, my strategy here was essentially to clean the area out first and then start throwing the grenades in. You can of course do it either which way. I'm also doing it essentially from the right side of the middle island to the left, so the footage will make most sense to you if you're also coming from that side. Now the good news here as well is that there's actually more than 6 locations that you can throw these grenades into, so you aren't just limited to 6. However, in the background right now you can see me essentially running through the 6 that I use to essentially prime the quest or prime the mission. So as you move through, you'll see there are these little pools that are like linked onto the corners of the areas, and all you do is you just toss a gas grenade in there and it will explode, and you will see it start ticking your mission progress. Now the last one, as you can see, I'm moving to them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and the last one can even be this massive pool that kind of like sits to the middle of the area. And once you throw all your 6 grenades into 6 different pools, you will complete the second part of this mission, and you don't have to successfully exfiltrate. It will give you the credit for the mission right there, and hopefully you can move on to bigger and better things. And that's it for the mission as well as the video. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. Let me know if any of the steps here weren't clear. This is actually a relatively easy mission, all things considered, just as long as you don't get bogged down by enemy players or the AI in this area. I would consider doing this fast and not hanging out here much longer than you need to do, because this just further increases the chance of you getting ambushed and murdered by some assholes. Either which way, it's just super important to me that you have a fantastic morning, afternoon, and evening wherever you are in the world. And until next video, fucking cheers.
They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me. They want the best of me now, best of me now, best of me now, best of me.